If you've joined this channel anywhere in the last 3 years, you know exactly what is about to happen. This is the single most requested miniature we have ever had. But if you're new to the channel, just like Bo Peep said to Woody when he caught her in bed with Buzz Lightyear, you got a friend in me. At this point, I've put out nearly 1,000 videos on this channel, and probably about 80% of that is geared towards the Synthwave aesthetic. And yes, we have covered Emperor's Children in the past. Pachow! Sorry, Unc, won't do it again. But since there is finally a new 40k release for the Emperor's Children, we should probably take another swing at this. Also, thanks in-games.
Alright nerds, it's diagram time. The entirety of the armor is made up of two colors, Regal Blue and Wicked Pink. And to transition from one to the other, we're gonna have to mix up some layers. That way you don't need an airbrush and we don't have to glaze for 6 years. But let's just start slinging around some paint. That first Captain Obvious step, we're gonna need a base coat of Regal Blue. I'll show you all the colors in the video, but there will be a full list of every paint that we used in the description. And yes, I'm going to use the leg to show you what we're doing because there's a nice open space where you can actually see everything, but all of these same rules are going to apply across the rest of the armor. After we have our base coat down, we're going to start mixing some of those paints. For our first layer and step up in color, this is going to be a little bit more tilted towards the blue side. And yes, I am adding more pink than blue, but that's because blue is a fairly strong pigment. It can be incredibly domineering when it comes to mixing. For this layer, I'm really not worried about where the light should be coming from yet. Instead, I'm just going for half of this open space and then we're going to start blending back. While the pink isn't intended to come from any kind of light source, we can think about it in a very similar way. Because I am going to be hitting all the upward facing and forward facing sections of the armor. And for this step, you do want to paint a little further out than you think where you want it to go. Because we're going to come back in with that Regal Blue heavily thinned down and start to glaze and feather off the edges just to blur out the transition. So if you don't leave enough space, you're going to find yourself boxed in pretty quickly. For our next layer, we're going to take that exact same mix and just add that little bit of extra pink. And then using that mix, I'm going to paint inside the layer that we just painted, except a little bit smaller again. We're taking the exact same idea from every single other layering paint guide and using it in a slightly different spot. Instead of using our colors and placement to pick out our volumes, we're using it to create a gradient. And all that means is we're highlighting in a different spot. We're not trying to make it feel like shadows or light, we just want some interest in there. While the ideas and techniques are based in realism, we're not really shooting for realism. Once that layer's done, we're going to come in with Wicked Pink. This step is less about continuing the gradient and more about building up the intensity and saturation. It's not quite a glaze, but it is thinner than your general layer consistency. And if you wanted to push that saturation even higher, you can use fluorescent paints, you could even use speed paints as a glaze. After we're finished here, we're going to come in with a little bit of Pixie Pink and actually give it a little bit of highlighting as you usually would. This is just going to give our shapes a little bit of volume. The cool thing about all of this is that all of these skills and ideas are universal. They're transferable skills. You can take these same ideas, same placements, and change the colors. Even if you don't want to bring the ruckus like we do with some of these out there color schemes, you can still pick and change and apply all of this to your painting on just about any miniature with any palette that you see fit. But since we are using all of those big bold colors, it's a lot easier to see where all of those placements sit. So if you've been struggling with light placement and where to put your shadows, try something like this where it's very, very easy to see. And then when you get a feel for it, you can go back and try this same thing out with any other color scheme you want. But for now, back to the Synthwave. And yes, there is a reason that I'm showing you how to do this all over again, even though we just did it on the leg. And that's for these few little spots right here. When you're highlighting, you don't highlight to the same level on every single part. You want to control and draw focus and kind of direct it where you want it to go. So I'm going to add in a few dots of pink potion a little bit closer to where the head's going to be because that's going to get the main focus anyway.
Now, you probably noticed at the beginning of the video, there was an Army Painter Factory Team video bump. And that's because I'm now on the Army Painter Factory team. Choo-hoo! And while that's pretty awesome for me, it is actually all of you that made that happen. Which is why when you go to the Army Painter web store, you can type in Heresy 5 at the checkout and you'll get a discount. And if you are one of the greatest Patreon members in the world, there is a separate code for an even bigger discount in there. And if you're not, you can be. Links in the description.
Alright nerds, back to the diagrams. For all the trim, we're going non-metallic metal turquoise, and our darkest color is going to be Scarab Green, up to deep Azure, into Turquoise Siren, and then Neptune Glow for our final highlight. I'm going to be 100 here, I typically suck at non-metallic metal turquoise. But if you just stick to the basics, which is contrast and light placement, you can get by. And while that does say Deep Azure on the screen, this is actually a 50-50 mix between the Scarab Green and the Deep Azure. We all know how difficult some of the trim on any Chaos Space Marine can be. They can be big, weird, infuriating shapes that just are there. But if you break it down, they are still just shapes. So I'm going to highlight them like the shapes they are. For the first few colours, we're just going to play it simple. The darker colours are going to stay further to the back and towards the bottom, and then we're going to highlight with our lighter colours towards the front and the top. And as we get higher into the highlights, we're going to start to pick out all of the edges. Tracing all the edges with those lighter colours is actually going to, 1, make it feel like it pops out a little bit and separate the detail, and 2, make it feel like that's where the light's reflecting off. But again, you don't have to highlight everything to the same standard. Some sections will absolutely be brighter than others. The trim on pauldrons can be exceptionally tricky sometimes. So I'm going to show you a simple little trick for light placement. We're going to build up a pretty light gradient on any surface that is facing upwards. And then in the corners, that's where we're going to stay dark. The corners and the recesses are where you want to feel that the light can't actually get to as much. And this gives us an excuse to build in some of that contrast. With some of the rough sketches that you can see on screen right now, you can start to see where that light placement is going. Don't be so concerned about how well everything is blended or how smooth everything is. First step is to really get that contrast and to make it feel shiny. When you can squint your eyes and it looks kind of reflective, you're there. Then you can worry about blending everything back in together. And do all of that before you add your final specular highlight. That just means it's going to be your brightest color. Doesn't have to be white. Last diagram, let's see how we're going to paint this dick curtain. This is a fairly wild gradient going from Terrestrial Titan to Diaboli Plum into Wicked Pink before we jump over to some more hot colors in Burning Ore, Demonic Yellow, and then all the way up into Ice Yellow. But don't be scared, it's actually going to make some sense. Because we're going to treat this the exact same way that we would with any other paint job. All of our darker colors are going in 1 first and 2 into the deepest recesses. And because the folds are so dramatic, we're going to get a really cool color shift kind of feel. That Terrestrial Titan went down as a base coat, and then we're bringing in the Diaboli Plum. Now the Diaboli Plum is mixed in with the Terrestrial Titan for the first little bit. Every time we go up a paint, we're actually going up a half step. And a solid little tip for this one, try and get all the blends and everything smoothed down for the deepest recesses before you move into the orange. Trust me, it is a lot easier to get all of those really deep recesses done before you try and get into the highlights. If you go back in to try and smooth the blends after the orange and the yellow is in there, it can be pretty difficult if you make a little bit of a mistake and splodge all over it. It's better to just avoid the headache to start with. On the flip side, you may decide that you kind of like that purple to pink transition for the cloth, and you can just stay there. Because we're going to be using so many layers and so many colors to build this one up, just like the armor, you want to paint wide. These are all basic stock standard layering techniques. And if we're using those techniques and painting less and less as we move higher up, we're going to start to run out of room. So start off wide and give yourself some space. At this point in the day, I was starting to run out of a little bit of steam, so I did what I call basic bitch blending. It's not a real term, so you won't see it in a book anywhere. But the general idea is because we're moving up in half steps between each color and each layer, I'm also using thinner layers. Because they're thinner, they are a little bit more translucent, but that actually pulls into our favor. With each layer being slightly thinner and then each lighter color being lighter and thinner, it's going to blend it together for us. If you want a higher end result, you can still come back and glaze and blend them all in together traditionally, but if you're looking for something fairly quick and decent enough, that's all you have to do. And with this last highlight of Space Dust, I'm only actually focusing on the top sections closer to the belt. This one I couldn't really do a diagram for. We're going to try and pull off a hyper chrome blade. And the easiest way I've come to think about this is a rainbow with no orange. And there's actually also not a lot of highlighting involved. All of these colors together are going to be busy enough without trying to kind of add more of that. You definitely will not be able to pick out volumes. So instead of trying to worry about all of that jazz, I'm just going to focus on trying to get the blend a little bit smoother and the colors in the right place. Just like the armor, this is only grounded in realism enough to be somewhat tangible. To be completely honest, I don't know if I pulled off the look of a hyperchrome blade with this one, but it looks kind of cool and it's fancy enough for some Slaanesh. So we'll edge highlight and get the hell out of here. There we go, we have finally covered the single most requested model in the history of this channel. Drop a comment below and let me know what should we do next. As always, a massive thank you to InGames, the Army Painter, and all of our awesome Patreon members that keep this rolling every single day. Big love, you filthy animals.